Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very welcome to today's podcast episode. Now, in today's podcast episode, we're going to have a look at something which, if you're a beginner, probably seems complicated and will probably stop you in your tracks. Because, unfortunately, for a lot of us, when we meet something complicated, we say, I can't do it, and we don't even try. And I don't want you doing that as well. I don't want you, hearing about niches and then just giving up. Now, what are niches? Well, I'm going to go through this in this podcast episode, but if you are creating a digital product before you start writing, before you start recording, before you switch on your camera and record your first video, you need to think about the niche that you are going after. Now, if you think it's complicated, it's not. I'm going to go through a couple of points that will make it a lot easier for you to understand, and it'll give you an idea of what you should be doing before you create your first digital product. Now, when it comes to niches, the first thing you need to ask yourself, or to write down on the page right now, is who. Who is your product for? Is it for men? Is it for women? And again, if it is for men, is it men maybe between the age of 20 and 30? If it is females, is it maybe females between 30 and 40? So what you need to do is you need to think of who you are creating it for. And again, of men and women, do they have a particular type of occupation? Are you creating a digital product for men who are teachers? Are you creating a digital product for females who are maybe doing homeschooling? Are you creating a digital product maybe for someone who is interested in knowing how to cut hair? Is your digital product going to be for someone maybe who is interested in dogs, would like to learn how to train them? So what you need to do is you need to get a piece of paper right now, and you need to write down who you are going after. Now, sometimes when we don't know who we're actually creating our product for, it could be maybe that we are creating a product for a younger version of us. Maybe you were someone who didn't know anything about maybe calligraphy, and right now you have a couple of months experience under you. So maybe the person that you are trying to tailor your training product about could be somebody who is maybe just new to calligraphy, has never written before, doesn't know what equipment they need to buy, doesn't know any techniques, maybe the ink, maybe the pens, or whatever it is. So your digital product could be maybe for the person you were 6 months ago when you're a beginner. And sometimes that is an easy place to start off because you know exactly what you were like back then, how confused you were, the questions you had. So that could be your who. So before I move on to the next point, who are you creating your digital product for? Are they male, female? What age? What occupation do they have? What hobbies do they have? And what are the type of questions that they could be faced with right now? And just write those down. And that'll give you an idea, first of all, of who you are creating the digital product for. Now, the next thing you need to think about is what are they looking for? Again, what are the problems that they're having? Again, if you're creating the product for the younger version of you, the person who had no experience than where you are right now, you probably know exactly what you were looking for. You probably know exactly what your questions were, what your problems were, what you needed answers to. Now, again, if you don't know what your particular audience is looking for, one of the best places to go to is Google and just actually typing in the main keyword into the search box. And as you type it in, write in the kind of what, where, whys, how, and see what Google starts giving you up. You will find sometimes the automatic kind of search box will maybe autocomplete what you're about to say, and it'll give you an idea of what your audience is typing into Google, what problems they have right now, and that can be your what. Now, another great website to go to is one called Answer the Public. So if you go over to answerthepublic.com, and what you do is you put in your main keyword there and click on search, what Answer the Public will do is it will go and find all the questions that your typical audience is asking. All the who's, the whys, the how's, all those different questions, and it'll give you a series of questions that you can download, and then you can actually create content going on that. So the second thing you need to do after your who is what. What problems, what questions, What are they looking for? Another thing you need to think about is where. Where is your audience? Where is your customers? Are they based in the US? Are they based in the UK? Are they in Australia, Africa, wherever? Where are they? And again too, I would also think, where are they online? Where is your audience hanging out right now? Are they reading blogs? Are they on maybe a Facebook page? Are they on Twitter? What social media platform are they hanging out on? And again, write that down on a page. So you'll know that you have maybe a female who is interested in maybe dog training. You have now a series of questions that she is asking on that. And you also know where she is hanging out. So it's helpful to know where they are hanging out, because you will find then if you are creating a digital product, you'll know where to go into those groups to talk about your digital product and actually sell that to them. Again, maybe if you are going to monetize some type of paid advertisement, then maybe later on, when it comes to maybe Facebook ads or something like that, you'll know what countries you need to be targeting. So you can kind of narrow down the audience that you're looking for. But think about that for a moment. Where are they living? Or where are they hanging out? And again, sometimes if you know where they're hanging out, sometimes it's a good point maybe to go into those places and just spend a couple of days just looking around at what the questions people are asking. That'll give you another idea of what you could be creating your digital product about, or what niche you might go after. If, for example, maybe you go into maybe a Facebook page that is all about dog grooming, and if you find maybe that when you go into that Facebook page, everybody is talking about how to maybe groom a poodle or how to groom a Labrador, and you find that that is kind of the majority of questions is on a particular breed, well then what you can do is you can narrow down your digital product to only talk about Labradors or only talk about poodles, because that is what your group is talking about. Another great place to go over to is called Quora.com. That's Quora.com. Again, you'll find a lot of people over there asking questions about a lot of different subjects. And again, too, I'm sure if you go into whatever niche that you are looking to go after, be it dog training, beer brewing, hairdressing, homeschooling, whatever it is, if you put your main keyword in there, you will find a group that is talking about that. And again, you can study the questions that they are asking, and that'll give you a better idea of how you can maybe niche down smaller, like I said, with the Labradors and the poodles or whatever. Sometimes you might find if you go into maybe a homeschooling group, you'll find maybe the homeschool people are actually asking maybe a particular question more times than other times. So then you can scale down your product then to go after that particular subject in homeschooling. Now the next thing after where is how. Now what I mean by how is, how are you going to be different than everyone else? When you create your digital product, you're going to be probably in another marketplace with other people selling digital products about that topic. Now sometimes maybe if you scaled down your niche, for example, maybe you had something on dog grooming, and then you scaled it down to a particular breed, and down to maybe dog grooming maybe for pups, or maybe dog grooming for older dogs. So you're kind of narrowing your funnel down to a smaller point. Sometimes if you get down to a small enough point, you could be the only person maybe that's selling digital products on how to groom older Labradors. And you might find that you're maybe the only person in the marketplace that does that. But maybe you're in a marketplace now where other people are actually selling products just like yours. So what you need to do is you need to think, how am I different than these other people? Now sometimes your experience could make you different. Maybe if you were a dog groomer who has maybe 10 years of experience grooming dogs, well then that is what makes you different than everyone else. Or maybe the digital product you are about to create maybe is based on something that you've done in the past that's gotten you results. Again, maybe if it's a weight loss training program, maybe you had a procedure or maybe you had a technique that allowed you to lose 40 pounds. So now you are someone who has that experience of losing 40 pounds, and then you can use that in whatever marketing material you have, and then you can say, well, I'm different because I can show you exactly how I lost 40 pounds and I can do it. Compared to maybe some other generic kind of weight loss programs that don't have kind of results, that are just showing you all the different techniques and tricks and all ways to lose weight, but they don't have any guaranteed results. Whereas you, with your product, have a guaranteed way of losing 40 pounds. So think about how you are different than everyone else in the marketplace, and that can be a way of separating yourself from the crowd. So again, going back to niches, I know sometimes when you're a beginner, it seems complicated. But basically all you need to think about is who you are looking to target your product to. And then you need to think about what problems do they have. Then you need to think about maybe where they are living, but especially where are they hanging out. And again, going into those areas will give you a lot of great ideas for research. And then you need to finally think, how are you going to be different than everyone else? And how you can use your difference to separate yourself from everyone else. Sometimes, as I said, it can be maybe how many years experience you have, how many results you have, or maybe you have maybe a crazy technique that nobody's ever thought about before, but you've tried it out, it works, and you can actually use that technique as your how that makes you different from everyone else. So as I said, niche research isn't really complicated, but the best place you need to start off with who you're creating your product for. Because unfortunately, a lot of us sometimes, get carried away, create a digital product for maybe an audience that isn't there. Or maybe that audience is there, but maybe they're not asking the questions that you are covering in your product. And you're going to find when you go to that audience, you try and sell them that product, they're not interested in it because you're not helping the problems that they're looking for. So you need to do a little bit of kind of background research first, just to make sure that you are tailoring your product to the right people, to the questions that they have, to the places that they are hanging out in, and then making your product different than everyone else's so that you kind of stand out in the marketplace, so that the people who are interested in your product will kind of snap it up because it's what they want, and you'll have no problem selling that product to them over and over again. And again, sometimes maybe you find if you create a product and it's not selling well, have a look at those questions. Ask yourself, have I done enough research? Am I going after the right people? Am I answering the right questions? Am I going into the right places? Am I advertising, or am I hanging out in those places so those people are aware of what I'm selling? And you will find sometimes that if you're not selling enough products, it could be for one of those reasons. You've got one of them wrong. You might need to go back to the drawing board again, have a look at that. And when you do answer those questions, when you do kind of tinker around with your product, you will find it will probably sell a lot better. So give that some thought today. As I said, niche research probably seems a lot of, complicated if you're only a beginner, but it's not really if you just go after those questions and answer them in your product. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.